Okay, come to here. We are going to layer number 6. Okay, layer number 6, which is a transport layer. So under the transport layer, we need to know, okay, this is the objective. Mainly, we need to understand the TCP and UDP protocol. Okay. So under the transport layer in general first, okay, now we're focusing on this. We focus on this particular transport layer. Okay. And now he using the TCP/IP model. That's why there is a 4 layer only at this moment. Okay, at here, because of TCP/IP model, not an ISO model. So under the transport layer over here, so here, this is a general rule or general responsibility talking about the transport layer, what need to be done at the transport layer. Okay, so as you know, transport layer, when you go and turn on you're using, let's say you're using handphone, okay, to WhatsApp to somebody, definitely you wanted your data or you video call to somebody using WhatsApp message. Definitely the another party, your friend, should be turn on, should be receive your WhatsApp message, okay, or your WhatsApp call should be received the connection there. So therefore, the responsibility for the transport layer is going to do a establish, okay? He's going to create and establish the temporary communication session, okay? Temporary communication session. It means that he create this particular session for 2 applications, the software in this piece, in this headphone, and the software in this handphone temporarily can able to communication session, and then they are deliver a data. Okay, temporarily can deliver data. So that is a session, communication session between them. Okay, so they are mainly for link between the application layer. Okay, because each of the device here, they have his own application. So when you using WhatsApp message to come to call your friends here, maybe Ali is here, call your friend Ali here. Definitely your WhatsApp message call will be connected to your friend Ali here if he have an account for this WhatsApp. Okay, so the not going to WeChat or others Instagram application. So definitely come to here. It's going to link between the application layer and then allow a lower layer and also the lower layer for a responsibility for network transmission. So understand temporary communication. So now, so here will be more detail. Okay, the main thing is this part. Okay, talking about the role. So now we are in more detail to talk about the responsibility. Okay, as you see that this particular PC, you can assume this is a PC or your handphone. Your PC and your handphone actually can at one time you can multitasking. You can open multiple tab, okay, multiple browser, okay. You can go to a WhatsApp message. At one time you can receive your WhatsApp message, okay, instant message, messenger, okay. Your email also will able to receive. Then you can go and do a serving on your website and so on and so forth. So because the PC can be multitasking, okay, multitasking at one time can run a multiple application program, okay, can run a multiple application program, okay, and all this application program is referred to a not standalone program. It's not a standalone program, it's a online program, okay. So therefore, first your transport layer will provide a tracking, okay, tracking for your conversation. Let's say this particular web page, these 2 web page, is coming from let's say from YouTube, for example. So he will able to do a tracking. You are requesting a web page from a YouTube. And this one, let's say this is a messenger, okay, your Facebook messenger. So he will able to do a tracking, okay. The data coming from Facebook messenger here are passing to this particular tab, the application. Definitely, for someone are sending an email to you, your email will be going to show it, will be going to save it, okay, into your email inbox, okay, and so on. Or you are also on the same time you use your PC, you have another browser, have watching the online movie, for example, okay, or you're going to watch a live video, okay. So this thing, your data are passing in, and PC are able to keep track. So that's why responsibility in general, transport layer responsibility is first, they will do a tracking each individual conversation flow between the source and destination application. So they keep tracking your source device and the destination device. So over here, okay, over here, this is a PC. Let's say you are requesting, okay, and data coming from YouTube. So source is coming from YouTube. You are receiving the file. So they are keep track, okay, how many, oh, you are looking at the YouTube, and then and so on and so forth. So next thing is I always mention, okay, in the first or second class of this subject, already mentioned to you transport layer. The most important thing is transport layer will do a segmentation, and this segmentation process is only performed at the transport layer. So they will divide the data into the segment and are easily to manage and transport. And this one is done at the source device, the sender device, the source device. When the data, okay, let's say the YouTube going to send to you, YouTube is the source, okay, YouTube server is a source device. He wanted to send the data to you. So the YouTube server at the transport layer, he need to do a segmentation to divide the data into the smaller pieces to become a segment at the transport layer, to easy to manage and to do a sending. So when the data arrive to the destination device at here, PC here will be the destination device. PC here, the PC will go and do the assembly. Okay. So yesterday I did mention to you, assembly of your data is not performed at the intermediate devices. Assembly of your data is performed at your destination device. Okay, so I don't want to repeat anymore. Okay, why they are not assembly the data at the intermediate devices rather there. Please, if you are missed from you missed the class, you go and look back. You're going to view back my recorded video. Okay, so how they do a reassembly the data, because you have a segment, so they are do a tracking because you have a sequence number there, so they can able to keep track whether any segment is lost, whether the segments is on sequence or not. Okay, whether the data, the packet, like yesterday we talked about the packet, the term. Okay, because we at the network layer, that's why we use the term called packet to describe the data at the network layer. But now we come to the transport layer, we should use the segment, this particular term, to describe our data. Okay, so that's why they are using whether the segment, is there any lost segment. Okay, so where the lost segment need to be retransmit or not. Okay, all these things will be determined by the transport layer, will be handled by the transport layer, and they were going to keep tracking. Okay, that's why you just like you sending the parcel by using the courier service. So they will going to give you the tracking number. So you will able to know whether your parcel, where is your parcel, whether already received by your destination device or not. So that is a tracking. Okay, so transport layer segmentation, your segment, the data have a tracking number, have a tracking. The tracking number here is referred to the sequence number. Okay, so they do a tracking. Next thing, identify the application. As I'm just now I mentioned, a device, okay, can run a multiple application programs at one time. Okay, so we need to make sure all the application receive the correct data view a through using this port number. So it means that when you are sending a YouTube, okay, mean that you're using this browser to request a YouTube web page. So definitely data are coming to your PC. When the data sent to your PC knowing that this particular, this browser are requesting from the YouTube. Your PC are requesting from the YouTube, and the YouTube data will be shown at your browser here under the application. So your YouTube data will not going to show it under a messenger. Okay, the data will not be appear at the messenger screen there. So this is how you are keep tracking uh, the application, okay, that acquired by the device. Just you imagine that this is a server. Okay, so you have more than one. Okay, at one time you have a more than one PC. Okay, this is a PC1, PC2, PC3 requesting a data. How this server knowing that, okay, this data is belong to this PC, or this data is belong to this PC requested by this PC2, or this particular data are requested by this PC3. So therefore they have a tracking number. They have another one called port number, not tracking number. There is a port number there to identify your application. What kinds, okay, application port number with the IP address. Okay, when the port number, IP address together with the port number in one set using the column here, we call it as socket number. Okay, as a socket number to request, okay, to identify your device and your application, what application that you're going to use. Okay, now, so actually this one already explained to you already. You can have a look over this screen here. They are using different color to telling you that they are doing a tracking. They are tracking an individual conversation. Okay, so by tracking each individual conversation flow from source and source application, remember we're talking about application, source application and the destination application separately. Okay, so we are do a tracking. Remember, each of this data coming here may be, even though here look like same web page, okay, actually they are wanted to show you that they are come from a different, the data are coming from different server, and then you are receiving, you knowing that you are talking, your PC is communicate with others application, different application from a different server. Okay, this is the data. This is the thing. You can see that this one, red color here, and then purple color, maybe green color here. Okay, this green color, and green color. Why is doing this? Because wanted to show you that actually your data is in a small piece of data. The data sending to you actually is a small piece of data, is a segment. Okay, so that's why this green color, the green color segment will be going to do a assembly. Okay, will be assembly at the destination device here. Okay, and then after he assembled this data, the segment to become a complete. Okay, to identify, definitely need to identify any lost data. Then ask then request, your PC will request to resend the data again from the, if you're using TCP, okay, just resend that lost data to you. Okay, so that is a thing that wanted to show you that data is divided into smaller pieces. Okay, and they will do a reassemble the segment at the destination device. Why he divided the data into smaller pieces to become segment is easily to manage and transport. Okay, in your earlier of your chapter, you already understand the segmentation and advantage of the segmentation. One of your tutorial question did ask about the advantage, okay, reason to do a segmentation. Okay, over here I do not go and do repeating anymore. So that is the thing that we have a port number. By having the port number there, we know that your data, after I do a reassemble the destination device, reassemble the segment. Okay, so then he will going to send it. Okay, identify that particular application, and that data will be shown and display or on the application, correct application. Okay, so all application receive a correct data. So the application will receive the correct data and to display on the screen, and the user sitting on the in front of this PC, they are able to see the right data show on the right application, show on the right application screen there. Okay, the screen of that application. So this is a part there. So now we did mention about segmenting the data into the smaller chunk of enable a different communication to be multiplexing interleave the same network. This is the reason why the data. So you can see over this side, this particular network, okay, this network coming in, okay, the network, when the data coming to your PC, okay, is not occupied by only one communication. Okay, it's not occupied by one communication or occupied by one application. Okay, so you can able to sending a multiple application segment at one time. This is a part there. So segmentation facilitate the data transport by the lower network layer. And because of the segmentation, due to you have this feature segmentation, which you allow to have a conversation multiplexing. Okay, multiplexing, it means that multiple application can use the network at the same time. Okay, very important thing. If you do not do any if you did not have segmentation, mean that this particular cable, you only can send, you only can occupy, fully occupied by one of the application only. Okay, only can be used by one application. But now your data is in the small pieces. Okay, so your data can have different data can send through this particular network, on the network. So then definitely when you have a segmentation, sure have a pros and cons. Okay, so segmentation, this is a advantage. Multiplexing is the most advantage to allow multi-application to send, to use the network at the same time. Okay, but definitely have a disadvantage. Disadvantage, just now you already see. Okay, the data, they have more thing to do because you need to do a tracking, you need to assemble the data back to the original sequence. All these things will be take more time consuming to do, to reassemble your data again. Okay, so then and then each of these particular piece of segment, you have a checking. You need to check the error also. Error checking can be done on the data in the segment to check if the segment was changed during a transmission. Okay, remember last time I did mention to you under the frame. Okay, frame, you have this particular CRC value. Okay, so this one is checking your signal when you sending, whether is there any corrupted, your signal is corrupted or not. Okay, you are comparing the CRC value. So this is checking from your data. And this is another one of checking because you are almost going to the application layer already. So you also need to check. So from this checking is mainly checking the any lost data, okay? Any lost data and so on. So now, after you understand the three responsibility, these three responsibility from the transport layer in general, this is talking about a general responsibility for a transport layer. So now we need to go in more detail to understand the protocol used in a transport layer. So certain protocol, okay, certain protocol we're going to use will have all this will be have, okay, mean that not certain lah. TCP, okay, I should more specific than that. TCP protocol, all these function will have, okay, but for UDP, okay, this protocol, they do segmentation, they do identify of application, but he did not go and do tracking for a conversation, okay, conversation there. So I will going to let you know why the UDP, they did not going to do the tracking for the conversation, okay. So we are go and move in more detail talking about this part. So now, under the transport layer, we have two transport layer protocol, only these two, okay, no others, okay. So that's why when you designing, when you are the one, you are maybe one day like RST student, one day you are be a programmer and so on. For example, you design your you create your you're going to mean that you create your you design your FIP. Let's say most of you definitely you need to handle your FIP, your final year project. You need to design your system. So you created your application. You need to identify what kind of transport layer which is relevant to your system. Okay, to your system. So this all has HTTP, FTP, SMTP, DNS, TFTP. All these things is a well-known application. Okay, let's say any website. Okay, all the website is either HTTP protocol or HTTPS protocol. This is a well-known already. Okay, so different protocol, different applications, they may use the transport layer. They may using a different protocol at the transport layer. As you see that FTP, HTTP, SMTP, okay, these three are using transmission control protocol, TCP protocol. Okay, for TFTP, they are using UDP. Okay, fixed already one. DNS, you can have two options. Okay, depends on your configuration. Okay, can be UDP, can be TCP. Okay, so now these two protocol. So later on in your next last chapter, we are going to cover this application. Okay, but now we focus on these two. Over here, under the TCP stand for Transmission Control Protocol is a reliable protocol. Okay, this protocol we're going to check to ensure all the data are arrived to the destination. How he can ensure the data are arrived at the destination is because of the sequence number. So according to the sequence number in the packet, they will able to identify any lost data. So only that lost data need to be retransmitted. They will request your destination device at the transport layer. When you're running TCP, the TCP will request the source device to retransmit that particular lost segment. Okay, so because of this reliability, they need to provide a reliability. They need to provide to ensure the data are arrived at the destination device. It means that the segment the segment, the header for this segment, they will need to increase the size. They have more thing, more field need to be added into the header to do a checking. So TCP will have a delay for a transmission because they need to do a lot of checking, verify any data loss, then do a reassembly and so on. However, for UDP, UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol, does not provide reliable. It means that they no need to check whether there is any lost data or not. Okay. The main thing is he wants the data to be received as fast as possible, and he just gather the data. He will not reorder the data. As long as the data already arrived to the destination device, even though the sequence number, the order of the segment is not in the right order, he just pass it to the application. Okay, so therefore the header field inside this segment is smaller compared to the TCP. So we always using the word segment. Okay, we always using the word segment in mean that to describe our data. Okay, but we also using the word called datagram. Okay, datagram to describe our segment when the data are using this protocol. It means that under the transport layer, our PDU, okay, protocol data unit, okay, protocol data unit, okay, we can call it as segment. We also can call it as datagram. When you saw this datagram, you know that you are using UDP protocol, okay. So always we are using the segment to describe our data lah, okay. So now coming to here, okay. So coming to here, so this is wanted to let you know that TCP transport layer is similar to sending the track packet, okay, package, okay, just like your shipping order lah. If the shipping order is broken up into the several package, and then the customer can check online to see the order of the deliver, okay. So it means that let's say you order something from somebody, okay, let's say A company sending you a 2 box, okay. Each of these box, you have a tracking number, okay. When you're using a courier service, you have a tracking number there, okay. Each of these box, okay, box 1, okay, and box 2, you have a tracking number. So you can go and check the order of the deliver. So you can see where your data, okay. Same thing over here for your TCP, okay. You can have a look at this person. This person actually he have a very long essay, for example, long document. So this document is a file. He using this file transfer protocol. Right? So he want to transfer this particular file and save it into this particular server. Okay? So at the transport layer, because it's a FTP protocol, this one is a file server. Okay, file server. You sending the file keep over here. So in this particular data, user, this person, this man, see this data, this file is one complete file. But at the transport layer, he divided it into the smaller pieces. So over this description here, he said that he divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You have a 6 segment here. So this segment, each of this segment here, you have this particular tracking number. Okay, you have a sequence number there, as a sequence number over there. So each of this segment have a sequence number. Okay, so this data are sent over. Okay, this data are sent over on the internet. They may using different path. Okay, if you are using different path, and then you come to other internet, okay, far away, then you arrive to another service provider. You can see this is one service provider, this is another service provider already. This is called a server farm, meaning that all the servers are linked over here. So when the data are sent to the server farm stored in here, so this particular destination over here, at this case, FTP, this server is a destination. Okay, so he said that the first 3 out of 6 segments are forwarded to the server. Okay, what I mean now before, okay, come back to my story, let you understand in more detail why he said that first 3 out of 6 segments, you were going to say, Micha, why not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, send it all together? No, let me go and talk to you, explain to you. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these 6 segment, you have a sequence number. So when this particular device, this PC, he will going to establish the connection with this particular file transfer protocol server. He will establish the connection. Okay, at the transport layer, he will establish the connection. Okay, so the connection, not the path, connection. Under the transport layer, he established the connection. Connection must be established. Okay, so this server, knowing that this PCA is already logged in, okay, and they will talk to each other, how many files, how many data can be received at one time. Okay, so they will have a window size, okay, to determine the size can be received at one time. Okay, so according to this diagram, okay, the data, only 3 segments can be sent at one time. Okay, that's why over this particular message telling you that the first 3 out of 6 segments are forwarded to the server. So because your files, your server have been agreed with the PC1, okay, then that you only can receive 3 segments. Then that's why they only send 3 segments at one time. Are you okay for this part? They are not directly sent everybody. Okay, now you think about what? Before I discuss it, let me see, are you there or not? Let me go and check. Maybe Mohammed, are you there, Mohammed? Mohammed Abu. Mohammed Abu, are you there? Seem like not there. Okay, let's say I'm using one of your friends over here. Maybe I go, okay this morning, En Chai Han, HAN is here, right? En Chai Han, are you there? Yes, okay, okay, now so I use En Chai Han as one of the example. Miss Chow is another user. Let's say Miss Chow is very poor girl, okay, poor lady. So my desktop is only Pentium 4, very lousy, very old PC, okay, Pentium 4, very old. Maybe you never heard about this particular processor. I'm still running, let's say I'm still running a Windows XP, very old OS, okay, but my PC still can work. My PC still can online internet access, but my speed is very slow. My internet connection is very slow, okay, and my hardware, my RAM is very small compared to N are using a very advanced device. Your device is very advanced, okay. Your RAM is big, okay. The PC RAM is very big. CPU processing is very fast. So you have these two very obvious different type of devices. So both of us, both of our device are accessing to the one server. Let's say we are going to this particular puppy bank. Let's say both of us using our own device accessing to the puppy bank server and use example as a puppy bank server. So because we are accessing to this website, so important the data, okay? Transfer the data transmission between server, puppy bank server with our data here is very important. The data secure, need to be secure, cannot lose any data. Definitely the protocol used at the transport layer will be a TCP because we need to have a reliable. We cannot tolerate any lost data. Okay. When I do a transaction to the puppy bank, I transfer money to somebody using a puppy bank. Puppy bank should receive what I'm going to the transaction that I done. Okay. So they should record what I have been done. I transfer 1,000 to somebody, puppy bank should record 1,000 that the money have been transferred out to somebody account. So this is reliable. We need reliable during data to be received by the destination device. So now come back. So that is a reliable, and you know that we need to use TCP protocol. So now coming back, we're talking about the window size. So just now I used the N as an example. The device are different. So because my device is a lousy device, my device will, when he establish the connection with the server, puppy bank server, my device will going to do a negotiation to negotiate how many data I can send at one time. Okay, that is a window size. They will exchange the window size to indicate that maybe at one moment I only can receive at one time I only can receive 500 megabyte. 500 megabyte, that is my maximum. You cannot send so many data to me. Server can do a lot of things very fast. But for my device, I only can receive 500 megabyte. Okay. After I receive a 500 megabyte, I must be acknowledged to the server, telling to the server, hey, I received the first 500 already. Then you can send me the second set of 500 byte to me. This is why we need to have a window size, why we need to establish the connection. Okay, when we establish the connection to be established using the technique called three-way handshake. Okay, three-way handshake. Even though now I did not show you the PowerPoint slide, but I tell you the whole story. Okay, the whole thing. So in this case, because due to my device, okay, my application, my RAM, all these things, my transport layer should negotiate. Okay, my transport layer, the TCP protocol, when he established the connection, they will exchange the information. They're using a three-way handshake. They will exchange the information to the puppy bank server, telling the puppy bank server, this is a maximum size of window size that I can receive at one time. You give me too much of data, my RAM also cannot store the data. I will make loss also. You send to me, I cannot keep. I need to do acknowledgement. I need to do checking whether got any lost data or not. Then I will going to tell you, you need to resend the lost data to me. That is a part over there. But come to the Chia, okay? Chiahan's PC. Chiahan PC is an advanced PC. RAM is big enough. CPU processor is big enough. Even though the internet access speed also speed enough, fast enough. So that's why when the Chiahan PC connect to the server, he also need to establish the connection also. He also need to use the method called three-way handshake to tell to the server, hi, my dear, this is my PC. I'm talking to you. At one time, I can receive maybe 10 gigabytes at one time. So compared to my PC, I only can receive 500 megabyte. But Chiahan PC can receive 10 gigabytes at one time, for example. So that is a window size. So to inform to the server. Server also will inform you. Not only you inform the server also will inform you, because you also will send the data to the server. Also, so that's why under the three-way handshake, you will going to exchange your window size, the necessary information to establish the connection. So then you knowing that when you say that is a 10 gigabyte, mean that you can receive all 10 gigabyte, then you do all the checking whether got any lost data or not, then you go and do the acknowledgement that, oh, I agree, yeah, I received all the 10 gigabytes data already. Now you can send me the another set of 10 gigabyte to me. This is called transport layer for the TCP. You need to have a three-way handshake to establish the connection between these two devices application. You establish the connection with the device, okay, before your application can run your data. Okay, so this is a part over there. Just wanted you not just wanted. It's not the knowledge. You need to understand the whole thing. Okay, that is why here is only mentioned 3 segments. The first 3 segments out of 6 segments are set. So when all these 3 segments received by this TCP already, so that's why I said that the file server acknowledge, okay, he do the acknowledgement now. Oh, I received your first 3 segments already. He will send one acknowledgement back to the server, to your PC. So once the PC already, okay, he send the acknowledgement, ACK, short form called ACK, send it back to the PC, and the PC are received the acknowledgement already, then he will going to send the next 3 segment. Okay, he's going to send another set of 3 segment to the server again. Okay, so under the acknowledgement that no segments are received. Let's say unlucky, maybe this particular segment are lost. The last 3 segments are lost. So then the server will realize that he waiting and he do not receive any segment. No segment are received. No acknowledgement is sent. If you did not, it means that no segment are received, I will not do any acknowledgement. Okay, so when this PC waiting for the acknowledgement, quite some time already, but he did not receive the acknowledgement, then he knowing that, okay, there will be something wrong. So the client will resend the final 3 segment again, because he waiting for certain period of time. That is a timing that he going to wait for certain time. Okay, they're still not receiving. They did not receive the second batch of the second acknowledgement. So that's why he will going to resend the data again. This is why he going to use the word resend the final 3 segment again, because they did not receive the FTP, the FTP server acknowledgement, okay, sent by this server. Okay, this PC did not receive the acknowledgement from the FTP server. So this one, they have a number. They need to give a number, sequence number, and do tracking. Having a sequence number, you can do a tracking of the data segment transmitted to the specific host from the specific application. So you can see specific host to the specific application. Why? Because you are using socket number. Okay, specific host because you have an IP address. Okay, so you have each of the hosts, you have an IP address, and then do the specific from the specific application because you have a port number. Okay, you have a port number. Later on, we will going to learn a more detail for port number. Then your TCP protocol must be do an acknowledgement. When the data are received, they need to do acknowledgement. When should do an acknowledgement? Actually, it depends on the window size. Okay, so I can receive enough for that window size data, then I do an acknowledgement. That is my maximum to do an acknowledgement. So if the data is gone, I will not going to send the acknowledgement. So when the source device waiting for certain period of time, they did not receive an acknowledgement, they know that the data is lost. Okay, so then need to retransmitting any unacknowledged, mean that I did not receive the acknowledgement for that piece of data. It means that that piece of data I need to retransmit after certain period of time. This is what I mentioned. So this is the TCP, how his work. Okay, we still need to go in more detail. So for UDP, now using the same case, using, okay, now why is using TFTP protocol? This one, Travel File Transfer Protocol. You can see just now the diagram here under this part. Here, TFTP are using UDP. FTP are using TCP. You will see that this one and this one, what is the difference? This one must be reliable. Your file must be rich. Sieve it into the server. Okay. I sieve 10 file. There must be 10 file there. TFTP server stand for Travel Transfer File Transfer Protocol. The data is lost. They don't care. Okay. So this is thing. File is that a file sent to the server using the file transfer protocol. Not this sentence. Yeah. Okay. A file is sent to the server, and the server is using the TFTP, this protocol. Okay. Because the configuration of this server is using TFTP. That's why the transport layer definitely is using UDP. So same concept, your data, the data over here will be going to. So UDP segment the data. So he will do the segmentation. UDP will segment the data. Then to be sent and send all the data. Remember, he do not have any window size. He will not going to have a three-way handshaking with the server. Hey, server, what is your window size? Maximum data that you can receive. Then I do the acknowledgement. For UDP, totally they don't do any handshaking. They do not exchange the window size. I divided my data into the segment already, and all data I send it out. Okay. Definitely all this data have a sequence number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have a sequence number. But he will send out all the data. Whether all data are arrived at the destination device at this server or not, he tries his best effort delivery. Mean that he's unreliable. The data gone already, lost already. They don't care about that. Don't care, it means that they will not going to check is there any data lost or not. And they do not do any acknowledgement. So this particular PC, they will not knowing that is that all the data already saved, already stored in this particular server or not. They will not know because they will not do any acknowledgement. Okay, just like you over this sentence is just wanted you to imagine like a similar, you are going to send a post letter. Okay, you send a letter by using a normal post without any registration. Okay, no registration, not a registered post. Okay, so in this case, you did not know that whether your letter will be arrived to your destination device or not, or your letter whether will be received by the recipients or not. You did not know that at all. So the file server will receive all 6 segments. No acknowledgement is sent. Okay, even though the server already received the 6 segments, they also will not send any acknowledgement. This is a part over there, the UDP and also the TCP. Okay, so I give you a let me finish. Okay, later on I will come back to here. Give you a break. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Now it's not 10 minutes. 7 minutes. So now it's 9 o'clock. 9:10 a.m. Coming back. Ciao. Yes. Acknowledgement is only at the destination. You're right. acknowledgement is only at the destination device, okay? As if they are using TCP. At the transport layer, you are using TCP, then you need to do an acknowledgement. Your router do not have transport layer. Remember, your router is only application layer only. Your switch no transport layer. They do not know how to do acknowledgement. Only your destination device will do the acknowledgement, provided your destination device at that application they are using a TCP protocol at the transport layer. They will do the acknowledgement. Okay, so you can have a break for 5 minutes. I'm stopped for recording. Not you lah. That particular characteristic, that particular character holding the weapons, and you are shooting out the bullet. Okay, so you send out the 10 bullets over there. For example, you click 10 times, for example. So you maybe during the transmission back to the server, that particular bullet is lost already. The server will not going to inform your application, the online application, hey, you lost one bullet now. You please are going to resend that bullet. You will not care about that. As long as you will going to continue to give a bullet as long as the enemies is already die and so on, for example. So same things over here as I mentioned, your live video here. When the live video is going on, certain thing is missing. Maybe during the transmission, your line is not stable, hang there and so on. So you are not going to ask your device application will not going to request your live video person's device to resend the lost data. This is a part. So actually, what type of protocol to be used at the transport layer is really depends on your application. That's why over this particular PowerPoint slide here, inform that you need to use the right transport layer protocol for the right application. So that's why when you design your application, let's say you're going to design your final year project, you need to understand your characteristic, your application, what type of protocol should be using at your transport layer. If you think that your application need to have fast, you need to send your data as fast as possible, and then you want to have a low overhead. Okay, you want to have your transport layer carry the data, smaller data size, okay, smaller header, low overhead, will not do any acknowledgement, okay, and do not resend any lost data. Just now I did quote you the example, losing any scene of the movie girl, online movie girl, your live video girl, don't care about that, okay. You can tolerate certain loss of the data, and then even though the data are arrived at the different order, is an order, you also accept. Sometimes let's say sometimes you watch the movie or you watch the live video, maybe by right this is a scene 1, then after that is a scene 2. But however, the sequence of the scene is the ballet, okay. So you saw the scene 2, then come to the scene 1. You realize that, why the scene is different? Maybe you think, because of the network not stable. It's fine. You okay. You can receive, or you can able to tolerate this kind of situation. So in this case, you should using a UDP protocol. Right? However, when you chosen a TCP, is because you wanted to have reliable. You cannot tolerate any lost data. You need to make sure I send you a 10 segment. The destination device must be received a 10 segment. And the source device must have an acknowledgement. The source device must receive the acknowledgement data to ensure that I send you 10 data. I also will knowing that the 10 data you already received and destination will reply me an acknowledgement. And if there is any lost data, if I did not receive the acknowledgement, it means that is a lost data, and I will going to resend that particular data. The source device will resend that lost data. and I will need to make sure the data will be a right sequence. Okay, the data will be in right sequence. Why? Let's say I'm sending, let's say I having this particular value. Okay, I'm sending this data. This, let's say this is my data. This is a segment. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Let's say this 3 segment. Okay, so this segment called, okay, maybe I got 1,000. Okay, 100,000 there. Okay, 120,000. But let's say assuming this segment is over here. This segment is over here. You must be in sequence order, ma. If you're not in sequence order, if the data received, like I received number 2 first, then I received number 1, then number 3. Okay, so what is the data? 200, 1. Okay, let's say this is another dot 00 lah. Okay, dot 00 for example. So by right, I'm sending 1,200. But because your segment is not reorder again, you do not put back in the right order according to the sequence order. So when the data arrive to the destination device, if they did not resequence the data, you were going to see that 200,000 $100. This is a part. So if this is a bank, okay, if this assume now this is a bank server, he received this and compared to use, I sending 100,000, 1,200 over here, but you are going to tell me that I received this. Okay, it's possible. So that's why we must be make sure the data are arrived at the correct sequence order. I give you this 1, 2, 3, you should arrange it. Even though you are, when you receive, maybe the sequence is wrong, but you must be reorder back. So this is a part over that. So TCP, when you understand a TCP, usually when your server have a database, okay, or your web browser, okay, your email, all these things are using TCP protocol because you need to acquire to ensure data all are received, okay, and send all are received by the destination device according to the original condition. Just like your email. I send you an email, I say that I love you, okay? I love you. But at the end, if you are not in the sequence, then become maybe love are you, for example. So if they are not in the correct sequence, just example lah, huh? So over this side, UTP is 1 or 2 segment, okay, even though here is used a segment, should be datagram, of the live video stream fail to arrive if the disruption in the stream may not be notified by the user. Some of them, even though you did not really know that actually you are lost, you have certain scene of data are gone already. Actually, you may not be notified by the user also. Just like I quote you an example just now, the online game. You have 10 bullets going out. You lost 1 bullet, actually you will not know. So this one, again, this is a repeating. This slide is repeating, talking about the TCP and UDP overall. And here is talking about the TCP features. They need to establish the connection. They need to provide a reliable and make sure it's same order deliver, and they have a flow control. The flow control, as I just now mentioned, they will regulate the amount of data the source transmit. This is why that we need to control the data can be sent between the 2 devices. They must be agreed, the flow control. That is the window size I mentioned. So then we move on to next thing. So this is a TCP header. TCP header, just now you already know that TCP header, the header file size is bigger. There is a 20 byte. Okay, UDP, UDP header is only 8 byte. Only 8 byte. Okay, so you were able to see under the TCP header, you definitely have a source port and also the destination port. This one I will going to explain in more detail. This is another, this is, we also call it as a third address. Besides, you learn about physical address, the MAC address, you learn about the IP address, the port number. Actually, in a reference book, they say that this is another address, which is used to identify the application, okay? Even though they don't put it as an address, okay? So now you will able to see that sequence number, okay? TCP, you need to have a sequence number. I always say that sequence number, 123, 123. Definitely, I use the 123 is easily for us to understand. So the sequence number not always is 123, can be other largest number. And then we have an acknowledgement number. Acknowledgement number, which will be referring to the to indicate the data that have been received. So you will able to see that when you sending the data, you can give the sequence number. At the same time, you also can give the acknowledgement number. Okay, so acknowledgement number may not be sent by individual one segment, no. Okay, they can send together with the other data. So now this is a window size. This is what I mentioned about the window size. Okay, so then this will be your data, your data. Yeah. The application layer data will be over there. So the most important thing will be all these things urgent. Okay, this one is not a very important field. So if you are RIS student or the RIS, I think I got one group of RIS student, you need to understand all this in detail. Okay, because you need to have a network forensic. You need to understand the data traffic sending here and there in detail. So this will be the explaining. Window size is the number of bytes can be accessed at one time. This is a window size. All the while just now I already mentioned. So control bit, later on you will going to understand the control bit is the purpose functions of TCP. You have a ACK, acknowledgement bit. You have a FIN, finish bit. You have this one called SYN, synchronization bit. Total up is a 8 bit. You also can see that. Sorry, 6 bit, not 8 bit. 6 bit. Okay, 6 bit. Okay. So from that, so header length is talking about the length of your segment header. How big is it? Okay. So sequence number, acknowledgement number. Okay, acknowledgement number indicate the data has been received and ready for the next byte for the source. So I will going to tell you in more detail about the acknowledgement number. This particular number is so special one. So special. You can say that indicate the data has been received and ready for the next byte for the source. What does this mean? I will in more detail to describe to you. So sequence number will be used for the data reassembly already. Just now I did mention that. So this is again telling you that always they're using an IP phone, okay, voice over IP, then streaming video, live video, all these things. So data is reconstruct into the order that is received. They will reconstruct, mean that they will reassemble the data, but he will not put it into the order. Okay, data is reconstruct in the order. What you receive will be the sequence. Okay, what mean that the data received by the destination device, if the sequence is 1, 4, 5, 6 like that, I will just receive it. Okay, construct according to the order that he received. This is the one he mentioned. Any segment loss are not be resent. No session established. It means that they do not have three-way handshake. No establish any connection before he's sending the data. Okay, does not inform the sender about the source resources availability or not. So that's why they do not have a three-way handshake. They do not have any three-way handshake. Okay, they do not have any three-way handshake. I always mention like that. So now you look at the UDP. This is a 8 byte. Just now I didn't mention. What is the most important things inside the header? Because it's only the 8 byte. Your source port, your destination port. Okay, so over here is 16 bit already. Okay, so it means that Here already using 16-bit. Okay, 16-bit will be a 32-bit. Then you have a length. Length is talking about the header, and then checksum to ensure your header no error only. Then this is the data. They don't have anything really. That's all for this. So UDP is a stateless protocol. Because why it's called stateless? Because you do not establish the connection. You do not have any three-way handshake. You are not doing any tracking. You do not have a sequence number. You do not have an acknowledgement number at all. Okay. So then about the reliability. Okay, about the reliability, whether the applications already established or not, that will be referred to the handle by the application. Your application layer, when you do coding, you need to do a reliability. Okay, now you are going to check under your when you do a WhatsApp message. Okay, when you do a WhatsApp message, you WhatsApp somebody. Oh, you saw this. Oh, got one tick. The data already. Oh, got one tick. The data is not arrived to the this destination to your friend's handphone there. Oh, got two tick. I mean that the message already received by your friend's handphone. Oh, the tick become a blue color. Become a blue color. I mean that the my friend already read that message. Why you have all these things? The tracking number that can track over there. Message already arrived and so on and so forth. Because of the you will say that, Michelle, because this thing got tick, no tick, actually we can turn on. We can turn on. This is a setting under the WhatsApp. We can on the features to allow people know that we are read the message. Yeah, it's true. Okay. So your application can handle that. You can ask your transport layer, why the application knowing that this message already read, why your application know that somebody's already the data already received by the message already sent to the WhatsApp, your friend WhatsApp message there, account there, because of the transport layer. Okay, they are granting your data are sent. Okay, what I send should be received by your friend. This is mentioned about transport layer are given, even though you can off and turn on the feature tick or no tick, blue color, didn't show the blue color. Same thing. Okay, so can be handled that. So now I'm focusing to next thing. After you understand, we move on to we are not going to this UDP and TCP anymore, but we are focusing on port number. Okay, we're focusing on the port number. No matter you are using UDP or TCP, okay, all these two protocols are required to manage the multiple conversation, okay, by using a unique identifier called port number, okay, and user expect to have simultaneously receive and sending the email, website, view the website, make a phone call, and so on. So that's why this is what we mentioned. The device can have multitasking. The device can run a multiple application at one time. How your PC, how your device can identify each of the application, they are using the port number. So this, when your application is a well-known application like HTTP, okay, your HTTP, the port number is 80, fixed already. And your server side is 80, not your PC. Okay, when you connect to the web server, okay, the web server will using a port number 80 to talk to you. So you also have your port number. Your PC have your own port number. It's a dynamic port number. Later on, I will going to explain. So for instant message, okay, there will be the port number 531 and the email will be port number 110. So here have a list of the port number over this side. Over now. Hold on. This is a port number. So all these port number, don't worry, that slide I will going to explain to you. All these port number, this all is a well-known port number, will be used by your server. Okay, used by the server. So let's say your server is HTTPS. Okay, HTTPS. your server, let's say Tile College website are using HTTPS, this protocol at the application layer. So definitely transport layer, I will going to use TCP. So the server will using the port number 443 to talk to the device. Okay, talk to the device. Okay, I got. Is it somebody? I heard the sound. No, my messenger. Okay. Okay, come back. Come back. Let me focus. I saw somebody asking a three-way handshake. Okay, now I just go look at our website. Okay, our website. So our using we have this icon browser here, got this log there. Actually, they are using HTTPS, because the connection is secure. Okay, so this part. So if you have a, let's say, HTTP server, let's say this one. I don't know what is this server about. This one should be okay. Hold on. Give me a minute. So this one also HTTPS server. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'm not showing anything. I just wanted to go for this website. You can see here is not secure. This is also our Tile College website. Tile College ITP stand for internship. For internship website. So this one is unsecure. You can see over here. Okay, certain browser they do not clearly show you what is the in front the protocol are using. Okay, but actually under a URL, when you see the URL, they will identify for you this browser are using HTTP or HTTPS and so on. So now I'm coming back over here. So you were able to see that this is a well-known server, okay? The server, the application server, and stands to telling you that what kind of protocol to be used at the transport layer and what is the fixed port number used by this well-known server, okay? So all these number required as a well-known port number, okay? Well-known port number. So now I coming back. So I wanted to let you know the port number. We said that the device. So here, okay, come back. So this is your PC. You're connected to the server. This server are running. This server are using well-known port number. Okay, your PC, your device also got port number. No matter you are using TCP or UDP, when you run, mean that if you run one application, let's say I'm going to HTTP, okay, HTTP website. So your operating system will generate one port number for you to indicate this website, okay, this website, okay. You have this particular port number. So let's say you are going to have this one, a WhatsApp. Just now I'm going to have a WhatsApp. WhatsApp is using HTTPS. Just now you saw my using desktop WhatsApp. So in this case, I have another one port number used to indicate this particular WhatsApp. So different port number will be used to connect to the server, different server. Because you are multitasking, your multiple application run at one time. So now you can have a look at this PC over here. This PC, they have this email. Okay, you have an email over here, and the protocol are using. When you are connected to the email, and the protocol are using will be POP. Okay, POP3. And then the port number for this will be 113. So when at the transport layer, you were going to add in this port number 113, and this is your data. Okay, let's say you are sending the data to your device. Okay, okay, you will sending the data. Let's say you're sending not data, you're sending a email to somebody. Before the email can reach to somebody email account, let's say this is a example.com and this is a yahoo.com. So definitely you will send from your PC, go and do your server first. Go to your server first. So that's why you have your port number 113 and this is your email data. So now you coming to your website, okay? So you wanted to go to, let's say, YouTube, for example. So yeah, YouTube is HTTP. So you're going to the maybe X website, for example, X website. They are using HTTP one. When you key in the URL, it's a HTTP. So you are requesting a website. You are requesting a web page from that web server. So in this case, you are communicate with the server using the server will communicate with you using the port number 80, and this will be your data. Okay. So later on, I'll give you the idea, instant message and so on. So over this side, So example, each separate HTTP conversation is tracking based on the source port. So we have a source port, you have a destination port. Telling the destination what service is being request, the port number is 80. So I give you in more detail over here, give you these two examples. So now you can have a look at this PC. Okay, this PC, this is a IP address, this is a MAC address. Okay, now this PC are running two applications. One is a file transfer protocol, meaning that he's going to upload the file, something, and he also going to have a web, he are requesting a web page. Okay, he requesting a web page from certain website. So now assuming that this PC are connected to the local area network, your local area network have one server. This particular server act as file transfer protocol. It's a file transfer protocol server, and this server at the same time, he also is a web server. Mean that physically you see here is one physical one server, but logically this server is running. The server here, okay, this server are running two applications. Okay, you have a file server and also the web server. Okay, physically you have one server, but actually inside you have two different applications. So therefore, when this particular PCA, example, this PCA requesting a web page, so he's sending the web page to the web server. Let's say you assume that this is a turquoise website. This is a turquoise website. Okay, you requesting a website. Okay, and let's say turquoise website is using HTTP because this is a port 80 is that. So in this case, what I'm going to do here is you are sending the request. So I will have, as you know, I will have a destination. My address will be this. I'm talking about local area network. Then the source MAC address will be this over here. After that, I will have a IP address. This IP address .5, 1.5, this one will be the source. And then the destination will be the .7. Now come to the source. Because this one is required, is this particular data, this particular segment. Okay, actually it's the whole data because you included not only segment. You have this particular MAC address, IP address, and here got source, got a port number. So I cannot use segment already. If segment, I only come to here only. So I give you the idea, this data here. So you have the source port. Why? Source port, you are communicate, okay? You are communicate with this particular server. Okay? What is your destination port? Okay? Your destination port will be this one. Okay? So, sorry. I think this part should have a problem. So this one should be reversed because you are sending, at this moment, you are sending this data to the server. So your destination port should be 80 and the source port will be 1099. You are the one who sent it. Okay, you are the one who send it to the destination device over here. So that's why this particular server are receiving this one. He knowing that, oh, you are coming from this port 81099, and I have my server are running two applications. I know that this data should be open and read, okay, execute, okay, but received by this web server. Okay, same thing from here. Okay, same thing from here. They are going to have. So you are sending the source IP address will be this. Source MAC address will be source MAC address will be this one. Same thing from here. Destination MAC address, destination here will be this thing, and then this will be the source port number. Actually, should be reverse. This one. What destination port number should be one, port number 21. Okay, so I need to edit for this file. So therefore, you were able to see that I'm coming. This is a right. Sometimes I did not in detail to describe the port lah. So that's why you can see under here. This one, when you have dot 1.7, 1.7 is your destination. What is the port number? Your port number is 80. Can see or not? That's why I know that this is wrong. Okay, when you are destination is 1.7, destination IP address is 1.7, it means that your destination port number should be 80. Okay, so does not mean that every time the diagram is correct. Okay, so I need to got time that I go and verify. I go to modify the slide. So now, so from here, this is what that I mentioned in this particular we call it as a socket number. So source port act as a return address. So when this, okay, when the server, because you are requesting the web server to give you a web page. So when the web server return the web page to you, so the source port will become the destination port. Okay, and this address, so the source IP address will be reversed. Your destination IP address will become the source IP address. When he returned the data, now is the direction is sending here. I'm talking about the data are sending from another direction already. So all the port number will be reversed. Okay, source port number will be changed, become a destination port number. Okay, so destination IP address will become the source IP address already. So same thing from here. I'm talking about local area network. Okay, local area network. Okay. So if that is a remove network, then this one should be the your this one should be referred to your routers. Your routers MAC address. Okay, this is a part that. So now moving on, after you understand, you say, Michelle, how is it really need to understand, remember the data over here? In your exam, we are not going to test you so thoroughly about this thing, okay? But for the student who doing security RIS student, you need to understand all this numbering. You really need to understand all this. You need to familiar the format and so on. You need to understand that. That's why you can do a network forensic. You can check the packet thoroughly, whether there is any suspicious packets are sending on your network, how to identify whether there is a hacker packet coming in from your hacker and so on. So you can do all these things. So now coming from this part, so just now you can see that no matter, just now you can see that this particular PCA, they have a source port number. Okay, the PC will auto generate a source port number from each of the application running at your PC there. Your server will using a well-known port number, fixed already. So now I will going to come to the more detail talking about the port number, the category of the port number. So we have a 3 categories of port number. We call it as well-known port number, just now already mentioned. Okay, the well-known port number start from 0 to 1023. You go and Google search, right? They will tell you, you just search well-known port number or you just key in port number. They will give you a very long list to you and telling you what type of server are using, what is a port number from this type of server and so on. So these are the number are reserved for the service and application. So if you are running that service, you're running that application, okay, your port number must be set. Your server must be using that particular port number. Okay, you cannot run away one. Okay, cannot run away because it's a well-known port number. If you're using other number, it means that your device will not able, the end device will not able to communicate with the server. Okay? So then we have a registered port number from 1024 to 49151. We call it as a registered port number, which is registered under a IANA, just like your IP address. You need to register for your specific application. Okay, so it's a requesting entity to use with the specific process or application. You can go and look at the well-known port number. So certain online games, they are registered under, they need to register a port number. Okay. Okay. So or you create your own, you create your own website. Okay, you create your own, let's say you create your own web server, you have your own web server, then you need to use a registered port number. Okay, so like X0X0, that will be the registered port number. You can check. Okay, so now come to the dynamic or private port number. That is what I'm mentioning. Your client, our PC operating system will generate the port number from this range. Okay, so usually assigned dynamically by the client OS and used to identify the client, because we are talking about a client and server network. Okay, when we are requesting a data from the server, our PC is a client. Okay, so this is a part over there. So this is a well-known port number, and you can using the net state. You go to the command prompt there, you key in the net stage, you will able to see the connection is established. This is a command that you use to show your PC whether you have established any connections or not with other server. And you will not able to see any UDP. Don't be so blur because this is established. The connection established is referred to the three-way handshake. Three-way handshake. So UDP will not be established any connection. That's why you will not see any protocol. The first column is indicate the protocol. And you will also able to see what is the call local address. This is your PC number. Sometimes we are not show IP address, so difficult to remember. So if your PC have configured the name, they will show by name. Then this is the port number generated. Okay, dynamic port number or your registered port number given by your OS, generate by your OS. Then you are foreign address is the this one. You can see the socket number that he going to. So you were able to see this one is referred to your IP address. If your device knowing the URL, they will show URL rather than IP address. Then they will have a port number. Behind actually is a port number. By right, you should see this thing. By right, you should see this particular socket number. But showing a socket number in a command prompt there, sometimes it's very difficult to interpret. So that's why they're simplified for you. If that is a 80, they will show you HTTP rather than show you 80 this particular port. Okay, so this is a part that you can see under your CMD. Okay, under the net. cannot remember the command. Net. Okay, so you were able to see that. Okay, so I'm connected to some other places. Okay, so this is address. So your PC, actually what I'm doing, I have WhatsApp, I have all these things, I have a Google Meet, all these things should be connected. Okay, should have something to be connected. So I'm not going in detail to explain to you to establish the connection. So later on, so something so this part lah, huh? So they will run because I'm running, so they were going to show. Okay, so just wanted to let you know lah, command, okay, to verify the connection. To verify the connection. Okay, so you also, if you wanted to show the IP address rather than name, you can use -n, okay, to show the numeric number. Okay? So this is again the TCP UDP sending the data again. Okay, so expanding the port number and destination port number. We are seldom asking you how to change the port number, not like MAC address and IP address. Just wanted to show you that there is a process. So this one will be the connection for your knowledge. That is a TCP establish the connection. So how he going to establish the connection? First of all, he will going to first step, he will going to send out the sequence number. Okay, he will send your PC. Let's say this one is a server lah. Okay, example. All the while is a client. Client requests a service from the server. So client will going to send out the sequence number. So he will send out the synchronize. He wanted to establish the connection. He are going to request for establish the connection with the server. So he will generate a sequence number. From this example, he give a sequence number is 100. So he will send this data to the server. So what the server will going to do, he will do the acknowledgement. He knowing that, okay, I know you want to establish the connection to me. I will acknowledge. This is an important thing. So what he will going to acknowledge, your sequence number is 100. He will going to plus 1. 100 plus 1 become 101. 101. Why? Because this is expected. I expected your next sequence number is 101. Okay, so this does not mean that you give me sequence 100, the sequence number is 100, then I go and do acknowledgement is 100. I will plus 1 because I expected your next sequence number is 101. Okay, so at the same time, the server agree to establish the connection with the client. That's why this server also will have a sequence number. This server also will have a sequence number. There will be the 300 in this example. This is a server sequence number. Okay, so both of the device, they have its own sequence number to keep track the data between the data. So under the control bit, just now you have a 6 bit for the control. So from here, from this control bit, the 6 bit, okay, so they will going to set, okay, one bit is represent a sequence number, another 1 bit is represent the acknowledgement. They will set it as 1, mean that on, mean that particular segment contains acknowledgement and sequence bit. Okay, that is a control bit. So from here, when he's sending, the first step he's sending is a sequence number. That's why the control bit is only synchronized. Okay, they do not do any acknowledgement. This is what we mentioned. So this is mean that the server will do the acknowledgement. At the same time, the server also requests to establish the connection with the client. So server also requests. Okay, so not only the client requests to establish the connection with the server, at the server side, server also need to request to establish the connection with the client. So in this case, the third step, when the third step over here, when the client receive the sequence number, the 300, and he also received the acknowledgement indicator that, oh, you have received my sequence, my previous sequence number. You agree to establish the connection with me. So therefore, when you see that, when the third step is client are also agree to establish the connection with the server. That's why under the third step over here, you will also see that the sequence number is 101. Okay, do you remember just now the acknowledged number is 101? Why? Just now I using the term called the server are expected your next sequence number is your sequence number plus 1 become 101. That's why it's 101. So when the client do acknowledgement, what he going to do how he do an acknowledgement? He will take the sequence number given by the client is 300 plus 1. Why plus 1? I expected your next sequence number will be 301. 301. And from this establish the connection, this one is an acknowledgement. It's indicated that I agree to know that you already exchanged the sequence number with me. We are really established the connection. This one we call as three-way handshake. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this will be the thing that all the while is initiating the client. The client requests client to server communication session. So client requests communication. Then the server do an acknowledgement. Server knowing that, oh, you want to communicate with me. Client to server communication. Then the server requests and request server. Now it's a server to client communication. Okay. So this is a server to client communication. Then last step is the client is going to acknowledge the server to client communication. If all these three-way handshake is done, so at the end, then you can begin to send your data using the sequence number just now you have. And you also agree to have this window size. They will establish the connection and exchange the window size over here. So I'm sorry, I'm stopped over here. Okay, I will go and further, I think not much, another 33. So then 50. Okay, actually the behind is a repeating slide. So any other things? If no problem, then you can go already. I will stay here for another 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. Just now three-way function. Three function is also called three-way handshake. A child, you may going to explain in more detail what is the three function there. Oh, or is it mean that just now you mentioned about the responsibility? The responsibility? Is it you're talking about the function here? Okay. The transport layer responsibility over here is not a three-way handshake. It's not. Okay. Three-way handshake is this part. Okay. Three-way handshake is this part. Only TCP protocol we're going to establish. So anyone still got question?